Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening whenever you are watching or listening to this, and welcome to Link Up Leaders, your direct link to leaders in supply chain and e-commerce. My name is Lisa Kinski. I'm your producer and co-host, and joined as always by Francois Jaffray. Francois, good morning. We've got it this time.
Good morning. Yes, we do. And I love the music choice again. So
good. Yes. Yes. Like I said, you give me free reign of things, I'm going to do it. So it's actually, we wanted something that matched. It's actually all from the same track. So I was like, if this doesn't match, nothing will. Like, but I think it better suits the show. And for those listening, let us know what you think of the new intro music. I know it's funny because Danny McMillan on the interview that he did with Amy Weiss on Rise and Shine said nobody gives explicit warning. Nobody gives a fuck about your intro music, so don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, but I care about the intro music. So
yeah. Well, how are you on this beautiful birthday of yours?
I know. Yes, thank you. I'm good. Yes, it is my birthmas. And it's raining here. It's so gross. But it's okay if it's gross today because I'm gonna be at work all day, dinner with the parents. But like if it's gross on like Sunday and Monday, like with the fourth activities, I'll be sad.
Do you have big plans?
My friends are having a thing at their place on Monday. I have no plans on Sunday, the actual 4th, other than to park my butt at the campground. I don't think I have to be anywhere else. And then tomorrow my friends are taking me to dinner. So
that's nice. I wish I was there. I'm sorry I'm not there.
It's okay. You did have to run away short notice.
I did, yeah.
So I don't blame you. Are you guys still going to the lake or whatever this weekend? Are you gonna do a thing?
We are going to DC, actually. I have a friend that has a birthday on the 4th. So we're going to go to DC instead.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, yay. It's a big, exciting weekend for us. Kind of a different weekend, I guess, where our guest is calling from. It's just a normal weekend, I would think. But today we have with us Ana Michaela Santiago from Outsource School. You guys, I know everybody knows Nate Hirsch and Connor Gillivan. I hope I'm saying his last name right. But this is the woman behind the scenes. This is the one making things happen. So Ana, welcome.
Thank you so much. And I got to say, happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I love it. You guys, I tried to go on YouTube yesterday to find, I told you we're not going to blow by this. I went on YouTube yesterday to try and find an interview that Ana had done before because we've talked a number of times and, I've been through the Outsource School training, things like that. But I just wanted to learn a little bit more about you through interviews. And if you type in Ana Michaela Santiago onto YouTube, you find her personal channel. And she
the most
is
angelic voice.
Beautiful singer, you guys. So go like and subscribe. She is absolutely incredible. Her cover of Sarah Bareilles' Gravity literally gave me chills. I found it and was screaming at my desk, sending it to everybody in all caps. And I'm like, you have to watch this channel. So you really are incredible. So I told you we were going to spend some time on that.
It's so funny because the first video I ever made with Nathan when he introduced me as part of Outsource School, he's like, Ana, why don't you sing for us? And I was like, really? It's like, okay, so let's do it. So I don't mind. I love music. It's an outlet for me. So if I'm not busy with work, I'm on my keyboard, I'm writing new songs, or I'm trying to cover other songs. So yeah, I appreciate the appreciation for my music, and I hope to do more. But yeah, since you mentioned it, anyone who wants to pop by my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe.
She really is great, you guys. Just a super talented woman. And yeah, we could talk about that all day. But let's talk about Outsource School. I mean, well, did you grow up singing? It seems like you did, because again, I fell very deep down a hole. I found your Facebook page and everything.
Not creepy.
Not creepy. I'm thorough. Okay.
Yeah.
I've experienced worse, so yeah, not creepy. Yes. But yeah, I grew up singing. I joined school activities where we had mini competitions, and I just grew out of the competition part because I felt I have a big stage fright. Like even now, my heart's pounding out of my chest. So yeah, no. But when I'm on stage with my band, if it's like a no pressure type performance where you don't need to win or lose anything, it's like it's fine. I have the most fun. But yeah, Nathan, if you ever hear this, don't worry. We'll talk about we'll talk about something else in just a little bit. But yeah,
we'll get there, Nathan.
We'll get there. But yeah, I love it. I enjoy it, and I just hope that I uplift other people with music as well. I mean, I don't see myself as a great singer, but I do have my own style, and I'm just glad that other people appreciate it. So thank you for mentioning that you saw it.
You're very welcome. You are fabulous.
Warms my heart.
Big hearts.
Big hearts.
And I mean, I think it's important with as busy as you are, as Lisa mentioned, you are everything that happens behind the scenes. And I know I've seen a little bit of a few of your different interviews, and one specifically where I think you run a team of 15. Maybe it was 15 at the time, but is that right?
Yeah, that's still the same. So anything that I've been on, any show that I've been on was just over the last couple of months. So pretty recent, but I've been on about, I think this would be my 8th overall or 10th, as I mentioned to Lisa earlier. Still the same. So I've been on webinars, I've been on lives. Actually, I'm not really much behind the scenes, but I'm more of in front of our members a lot, and now I'm more in front of the business, so like on the marketing side as well. So you guys will see more of me over the next few months, hopefully. But yes, aside from that, I manage operations for Outsource School. So we have the sales team, we have the marketing team, we have the bookkeeping, the video editors, the graphic designers, we have our business development. So I keep everyone glued together basically. So I just run that part plus marketing. So yeah, a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, no, I was just getting at when you do have so much going on, I think it is important to find something that you are passionate about outside of work also, and just like diving down into that. And that's why I loved, just listening to your covers. It was amazing. It's like, where does she find the time to do this? But you explaining that you find it as a release. I think a lot of other sort of those that are in this executive level, which a lot of e-commerce and online retailers are, because they typically could be a one-man show, could be a small team, but finding that release is important.
Yes, it definitely is. And I really try to make the time for it because I believe work-life balance is important. And especially for entrepreneurs, outsourcing some of their work so that they have more time to focus on the more important parts of their business, or make time for the personal life. Take an art class, take music lessons, bake more, cook more for your family. It's very important. So even if I'm tired and I just feel like I want to lie down and watch Netflix all day long, I spend maybe a couple of hours every month just trying to write a new song or just trying to find a new cover. And so, yeah, I mean, I haven't been doing it recently. It's just been busier than most days. And Connor is getting married, so he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So it's like we're keeping down the fort. So
that's awesome.
But yes, I believe it's really important to have a release, have an outlet. So aside from going out with your family, finding a hobby that you really enjoy doing and just keep doing it, no matter how busy you are, make time for it. It's really important, or else you burn out.
Exactly. We could have a whole podcast about self-care, and I could go on for days about that. Drink your water, friends. But let's talk. And congratulations. I didn't know Connor was getting married. That's awesome.
Yeah, this weekend. Yeah. So Connor, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Live.
Hopefully you have good weather in your part of the country. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Outsource School and kind of how you found it, and then what they do and how everything kind of works.
Yeah, totally. So I've been on FreeUp for several years now. So Nathan and Connor founded FreeUp years ago. It's a virtual assistant platform, and they have really high standards with the people that work within the company and the people that get into the platform to become VAs. And so my mom was part of the internal team of FreeUp, and she's like, hey, maybe you want to start working home-based, because I had a lot of experience with different e-commerce businesses, as well as web development and design work and content writing. I could go on social media management. So she's like, hey, why don't you try coming on to FreeUp? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Then 3 years later, I had other clients, part-time clients. Nathan comes to me and he's like, Nathan's right-hand woman at the time came to me and was like, hey, are you interested in becoming Nathan and Connor's assistant for their new business? I'm like, hell yeah, just to work closer with them is like an opportunity, because previous clients that I've worked for didn't really treat me the way that I wanted to be treated. I mean, they didn't abuse me in any way, like where they never shouted at me, or they never nothing like that. But there was no growth. They didn't push me to my potential. They didn't listen to my ideas, and I had great ideas. It's just like I was just treated like an employee, nothing more than that.
It felt like you weren't really valued.
Yeah. Clock in, do the work, and clock out. That's it.
Yeah.
And then when I worked for Nathan and Connor, it was for 20 hours a week starting, and I just managed his calendar in his inbox. And oh my, his calendar in his there was like 10 different colors and 3 different layers on the same time. I'm like, what's going on here? So I had to start that out first, and I helped him, like, hey, Nathan, it's really important that we set some standards for how many calls you book a week and how many podcasts you go on each day, and just give yourself time to rest. I mean, this guy never sleeps. Seriously, it's like he doesn't sleep at all. And then I established my tasks and my responsibilities, and established trust with Nathan and Connor. And so they were like, hey, we love how organized you are and on top of things. And they really rarely needed to tell me what to do next, or and I think that's really important, being proactive. So I said, I just love working for you guys. I'm really motivated. And they said, why don't you come work with us full time? What will it take for you to leave your other clients and come work with us full time? I want you to take on more responsibility and be the team leader from here on out. So they gave me this raise, because at first it wasn't the rate that I was expecting. But once I proved myself, they gave me this big raise, promotion. And then here I am a year later managing operations, and that's basically it. And we've built great relationships along the way. I mean, like we joke with each other a lot. It's like, Nathan, go to bed. Nathan, you're too stressed. You're losing your hair all over again. It's great. And when you have that working environment with clients, when they push you to your limit, when they encourage you to be what you want to be, and they notice the small details or feedback or ideas that you have and incorporate it into the business, it just pushes me to love what I do even more. And I feel like the business is my own at this point. And I think it's very important that your VAs feel this way, that they treat the business as their own, and they view you as their most favorite client of all time. And that's when the real growth and the real scaling happens.
Mm-hmm. And so what Outsource School does then is not necessarily placing VAs with clients like FreeUp had done. You guys are actually training employers, or I guess you call them employers. I mean, from the VA perspective, they're clients, but folks who need a VA, training them on how to properly onboard, train, manage, nurture, everything.
Interview.
Yes.
I'll take it a little bit back to the basics. So we have 20 plus playbooks and formulas that revolve around the the marketing side of the business as well as the operations side. And then we have our main system. So included in the 20 plus playbooks and formulas, but we have our main system. It's called Cracking the VA Code. And we help our members determine what they need a virtual assistant for, prepare for the hire, how many they need, what areas in their business, the types of virtual assistants, because there are different types. There's not just one VA fits all type thing. No. And then, how much a virtual assistant would cost. I actually have a really cool tool to help people determine what their budget is for hiring virtual assistants. I'll share that with you guys in a little bit, but
nice.
So we prepare you guys to hire the virtual assistant. And then we have the interview, onboarding, training, and management process, which is still part of the same foundation, the fundamentals, one playbook. And it's really well built out. It's everything from beginning all the way to the end. We list down all the interview questions for you to ask. A lot of our members just copy and paste from us. We have the onboarding process, like what to go through. We have our SICK method, which is talking about schedules, issues, communication, and culture. Issues like your laptop. Do you have a backup? What kind of laptop do you use? Your internet connection. How fast is it? Do you have a backup? In case you lose power and internet connection, do you guys have a co-working space that you can go to work? What are your backup plans? Communication. What are the channels for emergencies? What channels can you respond to within 6 hours? For email, it's 24 hours. Set up these channels and establish your company culture and values with your virtual assistants. This is very important. And I just had a member a couple of days ago ask me, is culture really important? I'm like, yeah, this is where you establish your expectations of how they do their job and how they interact with people on your team, and build these relationships. Treat everyone else like family. How do you treat your family? With respect. Make sure they know what's going on with you at all times. Time management, just the basic stuff, and make sure that they know that. I mean, don't just assume that they're supposed to know that from the very beginning. You have to show them these your cultures, your values within the business. And so that's for onboarding. And then we have training, the most effective way to train your virtual assistants. No matter what your business is, you have standard operating procedures. And we have our study, sample, show technique, where using these standard operating procedures, you spend less time training your VAs. Like you're busy as it is right now. And then you hire someone and you have to train them. And that's just scary, because it'll take more time out of your day, and you don't have that. So you have these standard operating procedures where you give these SOPs to your virtual assistants. They learn it on their own. They do some research on their own. And then they just come back to you with questions, or give them like, here, study this for 4 hours. Here's some links for you to do some research. And I'll come back to you in 4 hours. If you have any questions, ask me. Perfect the process with them. Give them tips on how you like things done. And that's it. That's how you train your VA. Within these SOPs, of course, you have 3 most important parts, which is the whys behind the task. Why is it important? Why this task exists at all? And how does it fit into the bigger picture of the business? And then you have steps. The steps can include videos, text, and images, all in one place. And then at the end, important reminders and exceptions to the rule. Like for podcasts, for example, only schedule podcasts on Tuesdays to Thursdays from 9 to 3 in the afternoon. Never schedule podcasts after 5. For networking calls, I can have 3 max per day. The important reminders and exceptions to rules. The exceptions are if it's a podcast that has 100 episodes or more, for example, then you can schedule on other times. It's important to have these rules up from the very beginning, so they know exactly what to do and what not to do. And then, of course, we have the management section where we go through what types of meetings you hold, bonuses and raises, and a lot more. So that's just like the short version of what our main system is. But going through every single detail, I I swear, every single detail of preparing to make the hire, interviewing, onboarding, training, and managing your virtual assistant. And then we have other playbooks like social media management, bookkeeping, calendar management, inbox management, partnership playbooks, and a lot more. So we have 20 plus like that. So yeah, that's what Outsource School is about. We help you master outsourcing and help you hire rockstar virtual assistants and help you stay away or avoid costly turnover and hiring mistakes, because turnover kills businesses. Nathan and Connor spent 10 years mastering how to outsource, and it cost them tens and thousands of dollars just because of hiring the wrong people and not knowing or not having good systems and processes. So in order for you to save a lot of money, you have to have the right systems and processes and do it right from the beginning. And so for other entrepreneurs, Nathan and Connor built Outsource School so that they don't have to go through the same thing and spend tens and thousands of dollars just to master outsourcing, rather. So
right.
Yeah, that was pretty long. Sorry.
That's okay. It was definitely all encompassing. And we want to focus kind of on the SOPs for today's discussion, but I do want to go back and also highlight, because, I actually went through the Cracking the VA Code course and a few others. I know, I think I took the video editing one and maybe social media. I can't remember. I did a few, but I have a few more that I'm going to do as we expand our team. But something else that's really important that you guys cover in that course, just for anybody who's listening, who may be curious, it doesn't only cover the being sure that your VA fits your own business's culture and aligns with those values, but teaches you about the cultures of where your VA is originating from and how to best communicate with them. And it's specifically difficult when you're dealing with time zones. It's 10:24 a.m. here. It's 10:24 p.m. where Anna's calling from in the Philippines. And you're in the Philippines, right? By Manila?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, God. But if, folks communicate so differently, I mean, even just across different regions in the United States, and whenever you're doing everything through the phone or through your laptop, stuff is lost in translation when you can't read somebody's facial expressions or hear the tonality in their voice. If it's just text on a screen, heavens, anything could be interpreted any kind of way. I mean, how many times have we gotten just an okay from a significant other and been like, ... Yeah, the ... or the K. It's like, I'm sorry. Are we in a fight, or are you just like driving and can't respond right now? What's going on? So that was something that I found specifically helpful in the Cracking the VA Code course, was explaining the communication differences and how to best align with your VA on just that very basic level of just communicating expectations, checking in, things like that. So that was really, really helpful. But
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, you mentioned the time zone, right? And it's actually one of the most asked questions about virtual assistants. Can they work the time zones? How does it work? And what people don't know is that a lot of the companies here in the Philippines are telemarketing companies, BPO companies, call centers. So a lot of our work source are US clients that build companies over here. So we're used to working the night shift. And even before I became a virtual assistant, I was a night person. So I'd sleep in up till noon, and my day doesn't start until 3 p.m. And I do gigs, right? Wedding gigs and sets in cafes. So that was just my life. I'd
nighttime, girl.
I'd be in the cafe singing until 2 a.m. And then, of course, we'd have a few drinks after, and I'd be home at 5 or 6 a.m. So it's just the way life is over here. We're just used to the night shift. And you can talk to the VAs and set expectations with them, like, hey, we need you to work from 9 to 5 Eastern time. Is that okay? And they'll be like, yeah, or no, maybe we can do a half or a hybrid schedule where I work maybe 3 hours flexi time and the rest of the 8 hours on your time zone, and which is what I do. So I work half and half. I work Eastern time mornings, and I work half of the time flexible schedule whenever I need to. But if you absolutely need this person to work a set number of hours because they need to take calls or they're in customer service or something like that, then why not? I mean, a lot of experienced virtual assistants know how to work any time zone. It's just a matter of telling them upfront what you need. So that's all I was going to add.
No, I absolutely. And that night shift stuff, good for you for doing it. Because I did it for a while when I was bartending, but I also had a daytime life, and it got rough. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, going back to when you were mentioning that, you did work part-time, the 20 hours with Connor and Nathan, and transition more into this full-time role.
Yeah.
When you were working those 20 hours and then into the transition, how did that work? Because as you mentioned, you guys joke together, you guys laugh together, you guys built this really strong bond where you're telling Nathan, hey, go to sleep, man. It's late. You have to stop stressing.
I got this.
How does that? Like how does that work? How do you get to a point where, or I mean, how do you even communicate? Is it just you just text each other all day, or do you guys hop on phone calls in the mornings?
No need for phone calls, actually. That's the beauty of what we teach entrepreneurs. We use Slack. So upfront, right, during the onboarding process, this is why the onboarding process is very important. A lot of entrepreneurs forget the onboarding process, and this is where a lot of issues come out of. Setting the schedules, setting the expectations, setting up the communication channels, and what the culture is in the company. So from the very start, Nathan was like, hey, can you work from 7 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern time? So that was 30 hours, 24 hours a day. Anyway, it was 7 to 12 Eastern time when I first started. So I didn't have the flexible schedule yet because I wasn't working the full set of hours yet. And so I'd come in 7 a.m. I'd say, hey, good morning over Slack. And then we'd start our communication, or I'd already have the list of tasks that I need to do on a daily basis, and I just go through them, and he would just check up on me, or I'd just say, hey, so I've done X, Y, and Z. Do you need me to do anything else? I'm still here for another couple of hours, and I'll say yes or no, or go over this, or improve our SOPs, or something like that. And so it'll be the same thing every day. Every day I'd say good morning when I get there, and he'd respond just to know that he's around too. So we talk to each other. If he needs anything, I'm there. So it's very important to just set your expectations up front, where to communicate from day one. And we do some calls once in a while. Like we have a monthly happy hour call where we just play games with the whole entire team. We tell jokes. Last time we played Guess the Logo. And we had so it was really fun, and that helps build the relationships, just so that we can see each other from time to time. But otherwise, we don't really do calls unless, of course, the role is phone sales, for example. So that's the only time that you communicate with your virtual assistants over video. But this is because, so the reason why we do chat over calls is because virtual assistants tend to be shy over video calls. Not everybody is comfortable with video calls. So as long as it's not, again, a phone or video role within your business, you don't need to do the video interviews or the video calls. A lot of their personalities will come up during chat interviews, and they'll give better answers. They're more comfortable. They're not pressured. But some of us, like me, are very interpersonal and don't mind the video at all. I just love talking to other people. So just I hope that answered your question, Francois.
No, it definitely did. I mean, it's I know when I was on a panel with Nathan a while back, he mentioned the interviewing process and doing it through specifically doing it through chat, because that is going to be your main form of communication. So why transition over when it's not going to be the same to begin with? And it's looking at things like response time, the level of detail in the responses, any follow-up questions I think that you would expect that they would have. So leaving some answers relatively vague so they could dive deeper into it to see their expertise and knowledge in it.
That's true.
I learned a lot from just being part of that panel with him.
Yeah, and aside from that, all the answers or your conversation from the past few days are recorded, so you can just go back and see what you've talked about. So it's really convenient as well, and it does save time, because while you're doing something else or while you're talking to someone else on your team, you can just go back and forth on the Slack channels, chat boxes, right? So it's efficient, it works, responses are recorded, you can tell how fast they respond, but yeah, overall.
And so diving into the SOPs a little bit, when they approached you for everything, let's say, in this case, you were taking care of his calendar, taking care of the events that he was being on. How did that go about? Like, what did he approach you with in order for you to be able to take that over successfully? And how did that onboarding sort of go on? How long did that go on?
Yeah. So, since I was their first operations hire, Nathan gave me this 11-page SOP with all his notes that I had to study. But yeah, so access to his inbox, access to his calendar. He gave me his rules, like, hey, I can only do 1 podcast a day, 4 networking calls a day between this time and this time. And then of course he just forward over emails to me, or he gave me access to his Outsource School inbox, where I clear it out every morning when I first come in, and I'd go through the emails. Sorry, I lost myself for a second. And if people say, hey, I want you on my podcast, here's a booking link, I just book it for him, and then tell him what I booked for him. And if it's a networking call, hey, Nathan, I booked your networking call. And then, of course, just tell him, like, hey, I left emails from your lawyer, I left the emails from your accountant, I left emails from your doctor unread. So all important emails leaving for him, but everything that I can handle, I handle based on the standard operating procedure that he gave me, the instructions that he set out for me up front. But of course, for the first couple of weeks, we'd still do the emails together, so that he sees how I respond, and then he tells me how he would like me to respond. And of course, I never, ever pretend to be him. I'd always introduce myself as his assistant at the time. And it would be easier, if ever I made a mistake with the booking, he can just come in like, hey, Lisa, Anna booked this for me, she made a mistake, I'm so sorry, now it's me, it's Nathan, talking to you now, can we fix this? So at least people don't think that Nathan was the person who made a mistake, it was me. So standard operating procedures, check on how they do things for the first week or 2, and then give them tips, reminders of how you like things done yourself. And then, up till 4 or 5 weeks, you can check on how they do things, or ask them their process for doing it. And then once they get a hang of it, they'll even find better ways to do it themselves. And then what happened is I trimmed down the 11-page SOP to a 3-page SOP with a combination of text, videos, and images. And it just became clearer, better, so that when we hired our next assistant, I just hand over, here are the SOPs. And I didn't really need to teach him much. I just watched how he formed his emails. And yeah, so strong SOPs, instructions from the very start, manage them or check on them every now and then during their first few weeks. And then after that, outsource it, give them full responsibility, and always tell them to ask you questions. A lot of VAs are very shy to give their feedback or ask questions, but if you tell them time and time again, we love questions, we appreciate your feedback, come to us if you feel that something isn't right, then they would.
That's awesome. And I have more questions on that, but I do need to address, we do have a viewer on YouTube by the account Hello. The questions that are being asked are more about SEO and email marketing and driving traffic to your site. Unfortunately, that's not really the conversation that we're having today. I think that would best be addressed in a different episode, where maybe we speak to somebody who works in SEO optimization. Unless anybody has anything to add, I think that we're just going to have to address that in a separate episode. Now, I'm sure you guys have VAs that can help with that.
Yes, no, I'd like to give him a really short answer, if that's okay.
Sure.
So for SEO, email marketing, and Customer go to your email having. Okay, so
yeah.
Outsourcing SEO and outsourcing marketing, specifically email marketing or social media marketing, is possible. And there are specialists, SEO specialists, VA specialists for those roles. I, for one, did some SEO work a few years ago when I worked for a web development company. So yes, there are VAs out there that can do SEO and email marketing. We have an awesome partner affiliate manager now who does email marketing. So yes, if you have more questions, Lisa and Francois will tell you where you can reach me directly. So you can book a call and we can talk about what your challenges are and how you need help. But yeah, for now, we'd love to stick with the given topic for today, because I can go on and on about different areas.
So yeah, hello. If you do have any other questions, feel free to just either comment again with somewhere we can reach out to you, or you can DM us directly through the show and we will get you taken care of and connected with Anna. But back to those SOPs, starting out with as clear of information as possible, as clear of instructions as possible, giving that text and video and images. And then you said if the VAs are thinking that maybe something could work better, making updates from there. But if something from within the infrastructure of the business changes to where that SOP is going to be totally essentially just like obsolete, how do you go about updating those across multiple teams and multiple team members so that everybody all gets on the same page?
Okay, so what we do is we have our SOPs now, and we share it with everybody on the team so that they have these SOPs. It's all in our software, which is called Simply SOP. Mm-hmm. So internal team have access to everything, and we don't do it just like, we don't update everything just once a year. We constantly update our procedures or add new SOPs for newer tasks as they come out. So it's easier to keep them updated. And then when someone new comes in and we give them a new task, we tell them, hey, record the steps, master it, record the steps, create a video for it, put it up in Simply SOP, or put it in Google Drive, whatever you guys use. So that role falls on me. So Nathan Connor is like, hey, we have a new marketing outreach task for you. This is the goal. This is what we need. Go ahead and find your own process for it, the best way you feel it can be done, and then teach it to the rest of the team. So then I create the walkthrough videos, the steps. I have a meeting with them. I talk to them about the whys of the task, our goals, the reminders. I give them the SOP, and then I tell them, hey, I've just been working on this for a couple of weeks. So if you guys feel that there's something we can do better throughout this process, go ahead and update it yourself. We give our VAs the responsibility of updating SOPs within their roles in the business. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Empowering them to actually like make updates on what they're doing every day. That's always
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, because awesome. They're the ones that are actually doing it.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. And so if just in case we need to fire that virtual assistant, or we need to hire another one under them, all they have to do is like pass down the SOPs. It's very easy. Mm-hmm. I don't have to spend another 4 hours with the new virtual assistant just teaching them all the things that I taught the previous virtual assistant, but it's just there. So I give them 4 hours to watch SOPs, for example, or do a little bit of research on their own, and then I just check on them at the end of the day. And it's like, hey, do you have any questions? And if they do, then I answer it, or we spend more time in depth or whatever is not on the SOP yet. But yes, so aside from being as detailed as possible, with a combination of text, video, and images in one place, remember the 3 parts of an SOP, which is the whys. Why the task is important and how it fits into the bigger picture, the steps, and the important reminders and exceptions to the rules. What not to do and what they can do. So yeah. One more thing about SOPs is it's important that you check on how they do a specific procedure once in a while, or even if just once. So if it's me, I created a process, I tell Nathan, hey, this is my process for it, and then you go through the process with them, and you have to check if this is a process that you like, or tell your virtual assistants how you like it done better, or give your feedback, give advice. They love learning. Don't think that they'd get hurt if you're trying to step on the way they do things. No, they're there to follow your processes. So there are 3 types of virtual assistants: the followers, the doers, and the experts. So for followers, these are the people that follow your lead, follow your processes within your business. The doers are more specialized, people that you don't necessarily need to teach to do their jobs, like video editing, graphic design, writing, or web development, for example. Marketing is another one. So like a social media manager, you don't need to teach how to be a social media manager, but you still need to give like how you like it done. Or like for a graphic designer, just say, hey, I want it in red, blue, and white, right? Just give them details. But for followers, they follow your every process. So yes, they can help you update certain things within your business as long as they understand how you like it done first. So I think that was my point there. And then the third VA that I was talking about are the experts. The experts are people you hire to improve your business. So the consultants, the coaches, marketing agencies, perhaps, ad agencies also. So something that you don't know how to do on your own. So you're hiring someone to come into your business and improve the overall process for something. So the follower, the doer, and the experts. Did I answer that part? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. The only question that I have coming out of that then is, I'm sure that whenever these entrepreneurs are coming to you, they probably have some sort of existing standing operating procedure. Maybe some of them do, maybe some of them don't. But what are some of the biggest mistakes that you've seen entrepreneurs make when building their SOPs?
That they don't. Okay, so I've helped a few members create their standard operating procedures. And what happens is they copy and paste into a Google Sheet. For example, just a simple step, copy and paste into a Google Sheet. What they don't say is like, which Google Sheet? Is there an existing one? So within the SOP, you link everything that you can to anything relevant to the SOP. So you know how some tasks connect to a different task. So I'm going to give a better example. And since this is for e-commerce businesses, I'm going to use e-commerce. So you have an SOP on listing items, right? So the title, tell them how they should create their title. Images, what dimensions the images should be. And if there's specific background color they need to use. For search engine optimization, what are the keywords you want them to use more, or do you need them to do research on keywords, and how to do research on keywords? And then, of course, there's the description. How do you like your description done? And then, of course, after that, there's another SOP for what if someone requests for a return and refund. So at the end of the SOP, you have a link to SOP for returns and refunds, or SOP for editing the images, or SOP for what else? For what if the item is low in stock, so inventory. My point is, again, is be as detailed as possible and give them all the information. Don't assume they know anything. So the common mistake made with SOPs is that people assume when they hire a VA, they know something about the task. So yeah, I know how to list items, but I don't know how you like things done. I don't know what your items are. So assume that they don't know anything at all. So treat them as if they're new to it. Be as detailed as possible. That's what comes up from the top of
most
my mind.
often. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that makes sense, because again, from the e-commerce perspective, I know Francois runs into this all the time of, when we're receiving RFQs at Noviland, is folks just saying, I want to make a blue, I'm going to use my new water bottle, a blue 1 gallon water bottle.
Big.
Well, yes, I drink a lot of water. But it's like, okay, what shade of blue Do you have to have Pantone? Is it hex color? Is it RGB? You want a handle on it. Is it paracord? Is it plastic? Is it rubber? Like, you have to be as thorough as possible in really every
details.
It's your business, y'all. Like, I think we talked about this before, Francois, of we both had examples in school, but they were very different. Was it you or was it Jack? Like, write down step by step. I think yours was like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, PB&J.
Yeah. And in my school, it was having a robot arm write the number 4. And so it was like you would type in the steps to this computer and it would move this robot arm. I don't know where we got this thing, but it's like, pick up pen and write the number 4. Everybody focused on like the steps for the 4. And it's like, no, like open hand, grab, like you have to go to the pantry, grab the wheat bread, pull out 2 pieces. Like, you have to do everything.
Close the bag back up.
Close the bag up. Put the twist tie on the bag, people.
And the beauty of it is when you have the skeleton for your SOP, it's really easy to copy it for other procedures within your business, or have a virtual assistant do it. And it's great because now you can create SOPs not just with text, so it's not time consuming, but you can do a video. So as you do it yourself, you save time right there. Just take a video, take a screen share of how you do it there and then have your virtual assistant just type up the steps for you, exactly how you did. Open up StreamYard.com, all of the little details have to be there. But you don't necessarily have to perfect your SOP before hiring. Just make sure that you have the basic stuff down, like the goal of the task, what you're trying to achieve, what platforms they need to use to do this task. And then as you go through the task together, then your VA comes in like, hey, I know what you like now. I know what to do now. Go ahead, record it and use, do the steps. But you gave a really great example. I wish I went with PB&J, or I wish I went with like how to record a YouTube video with music. But good example. But I think SOPs are quite simple. Again, be very clear and concise. Focus on the whys of the task, your important notes, reminders, exceptions to the rule, the absolute no-nos of a task, and text, video, and images. Text, video, and images is actually the magic for SOPs. I'm more of a hands-on type person. I hate reading. I don't read. So I like videos. So while I'm watching the video, I'll open up on my end and I'll repeat exactly what the video is showing me to do. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. But if I'm reading it, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What now? So it helps to see it, to hear it, and you can read it as well. If that, but you never know how how a person learns. There's different learning types, so it's good to have it all there from the very beginning. I think that's it for SOPs. But did you guys have any specific questions about SOPs, or do we still have time to maybe talk a little bit about some other questions that you guys have?
Yeah, we still have some time. And actually, when you were diving into SOPs, I was thinking about it. So my background's in industrial engineering. We spend a lot of time on systems and operations, and documentation and process documentation, things that everyone wishes they had time to do. But I think a lot of business owners, they have this, they have the mindset of knowing the high level strategies, right? Let's take, for example, they know that they need to create content for Instagram, for Pinterest, for Facebook and LinkedIn, and this is how they're building their brand. And knowing that upper level strategy, they might not be so experienced with actually creating the creative behind it, maybe the videos, the pictures, the audio. How do you go about within the different tiers, there are the followers, doers, and the experts. What would you advise sort of are the next steps for a business owner that has this strategy, has the vision, right? Sort of that C-level vision that everyone loves to have without having the exact SOP. Like, this is exactly how I want a post to look, and this is how many times we're going to post it.
Okay. So SOPs are more for the operation side of the business first, less creative, more for operational. But okay, let's do this first. When you're building out your business and when you're thinking about outsourcing work and you don't know where to start yet, I recommend creating 2 lists. The first list being the tasks or the things you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, the repetitive stuff. List down how long it takes you to do this. And these things on your first list are usually the easier stuff to outsource. On your second list are more of the creative stuff. So the first list you'll notice more for operational. Second list is more creative stuff, like make a list of things that you don't necessarily know how to do yourself, like what you mentioned. Content, images, videos, graphic design, web development. There's your second list right there. And those are more for like the project-based people that you can hire to help you create your graphics, create your content, schedule your content, write your content, fix your website. And you don't necessarily need SOPs for those because they know how to do it, right? All you need to do is like list down the steps it takes to get to that part. So let's take promotion. Promoting your page or promoting a discount on social media, for example. So the entrepreneur knows exactly how to promote their business. They have an idea in mind. So all they have to do is go to the copywriter or to the followers and say, okay, we need to post content on our Facebook page on July 4th until July 9th at 9 in the morning, 12 noon, and at 3 p.m. So the doers are going to schedule these posts. So operational, right? And then the creative side, talk to Ana. Ana will create images. Ana, this is what my vision is. Come to me with 3 different types of images. These are the colors. Here's the text. The text can come from either the business owner if they're okay with just short content, or if it's longer content, talk to our content writer. Make sure that you guys are in sync with things that need to be done. Content writer, come back to the video, the graphic designer, give her the content so she can fit into the image, come back to me with samples, and that's basically how it is. And then it's on repeat. So the SOP is just give content to the designer, talk to the copywriter for content, and then designer and content writer pass over what the finished work to me for approval, and then it gets passed back to operations. So operations then schedules, and then that's where most of the SOP come from. Where to schedule, what time to schedule, how to schedule, replying to comments, and making sure that emails are responded to. Does that make sense at all? So the creative side has less SOPs compared to operational. So the SOPs are more for operations only. So that's why it's called standard operating procedures. We don't really have SOPs for the creative side of our business based on just Outsource School. But we do have steps on creating content, scheduling posts, for example, email blasts, newsletter exchange, who's gonna be on our next newsletter, what is in our next newsletter, just like the topic, and then but everything else from the creative side doesn't need to be doesn't have to have an SOP. As long as they write it, as long as they design it, they pass it over. That's it. It's different each month depending on the topic. So I hope that helped.
Yeah, definitely. And then in regards to the creative side, so those would be more so the experts. Is that what I'm hearing? Or are they the doers?
Those are the doers.
Okay.
So again, the doers are skilled workers. So the video editors, graphic designers, content writers, web developers, for example. The people that you don't need to teach to do their jobs, but still follow your lead. Somewhat still follows your lead, right? Because you give them the copy that they need to edit, you give them the graphics they need to do, or the video they need to edit. For the experts, you don't teach them anything, right? Because they're the consultants, the coaches, the marketing businesses, marketing agencies, where they come in and help you run ads for your business. They help you get your page on the first page of Google, your website on the first page of Google, for example. Those are the experts, and they're usually more expensive because that's how do I say it?
More of a specialized field.
Yeah. Specialized, more of a specialized field. So the bigger coaches like Dean Graziosi, for example. So he is more of like the expert. If you get him to work on your business, then that's an expert level already, because he knows exactly what you need to get done. Or like Nathan and Connor, because they have so much experience, and they do have a separate business called HG Ventures, where they come in and they fix your systems and processes for you in your business. They do it in your business. So those are experts. For the doers, it's just a skill. It's just more of a skill for them, but they still follow your lead as a client.
So like Paul is our doer, because we didn't have to teach him how to video edit. He knew how to
video edit. Exactly. But like, he still follows what you need him to do, like what you want him to do, right?
Exactly.
You give him the video. Yeah,
give him the video, tell him where we want stuff pulled from, and he is killing it. Thank you, Paul. We love you.
Yeah. But like, to take that to the next level, let's say we have Paul that just edits the videos, and we would hire someone separately, a doer, let's say, to strategize, or I don't even know, would they be able to strategize like, hey, where else can we post? Let's take Link Up Leaders, for example. Where else can we post these short snippets of the amazing tips and comments that Anna had for us about outsourcing?
Yeah, at this point, I feel like I'm just going in circles. So stop me if I sound repetitive.
No,
I get what you're saying. And they may not necessarily know how to do that because their specialty is for video editing, right? So they may not have the skill of thinking outside the box, having the marketing mindset. So that's why we have, aside from the video editors, we have our social media manager and we have our content writer, because they're more focused on marketing, promoting in different areas. And then you also have like, you can hire a head of marketing where they know how to run ads, or they know what people like to see, and where to post it, right? Figuring out what your business is stronger at. So some businesses are stronger at LinkedIn and YouTube, or Facebook and Instagram, right? So finding out where your audience is, who your customer avatar is, and promoting or running ads for those specific customer avatars. Yes, it's possible for your video editor to have some marketing skills, but don't just assume that they can, because they're just skilled in video editing. They just learned how to do this through courses. They may not have learned how to do marketing. So it's better to look for a separate marketing specialist. But it's always good to ask your current virtual assistant, like, hey, are there any other skills you know that we're not aware of? Like for me, I was hired for general assistant work. And Nathan didn't know that I was really good with calls, or that I could do podcasts, or that I would be a really good leader, for example. We figured this out along the way because they consistently asked me what I enjoyed doing, and they consistently asked me if I was happy, or if they could do anything to make me more comfortable, or keep me motivated within Outsource School. And this is one of the things that a lot of people forget how to do. In my 10 years of experience in freelancing, Nathan and Connor were the only people who asked me if I still loved what I was doing, if there's anything that they can improve on their end, and where I would like to grow more within the business. So they didn't keep me as an assistant, or they didn't keep me with just managing Nathan and Connor's emails and calendar. They listened to me, and they focused on where I was strong at. And that's the same thing for anybody in your team, whether they're graphic designers, video editors, content writers, if they're a sales representative, or if they're a bookkeeper. Ask them if there's anything else that they can do within your business, and if there's somewhere in the business they want to help out in, and try work with them a little bit on there, and you may find that they have a knack for something else, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's funny that you mentioned that you were hired on originally as just like a general assistant, because that was something that Carlos had mentioned in our conversation with him based off of that book, the title of which escapes me. But he said like the first hire that you should make should be that GA, and they should follow you along the entire ride. And that's how he has been training and growing his C-level virtual assistants, which is exactly what happened with you. So I think it's funny to hear his method and then also see it happen in real time. This has been a really cool journey to listen to.
It's absolutely, it's true. And then, from me, because I mastered everything within the business, I was their first operational hire. Then we hired another assistant under me, and I trained that assistant. And with what Nathan and Connor taught me and how they treated me, I learned to treat my people or my teammates the same way, and to get them to be in the mindset of treating the business as their own, keeping them happy, keeping them motivated, checking in on them the same way that Nathan and Connor checked in on me. And then after that, the other assistant and I started training more people and started building relationships within the team. And it's very important that all of your team members are connected to each other. It doesn't matter if I'm, let's say, a customer service representative and I have a teammate that's a video editor. It may sound like our roles don't go together, but somehow it still does. It still completes a whole circle of operations and marketing, right? So make sure that your whole team is connected with each other, that they build relationships with each other, they treat each other like family, and the values are there with each other. And that's why we have these happy hour calls each month and weekly Monday morning meetings. So for the Monday morning meetings, all hands, everyone from the marketing operations department, all there, even the experts are there in that meeting if they can be there. And we share what we did over the weekend, important updates about the entire business. So don't just share information that's specific to this role. Don't keep it separate. Let everybody on your team know how the marketing side is doing, how the sales is doing, how our numbers are doing for the month, where we need to improve, what our goals are for the next quarter or for the next week at least, and how everybody fits into the bigger picture. And our happy hour meetings are just for having fun, connecting with each other, knowing who we are outside of the work, because it's still important that they view you as a person and not just an entrepreneur, and not just someone whose only interest is their business and their sales, right? They need to know that you have a sense of humor. They need to know what your hobbies are outside of work, and that's how you connect and build relationships. And from there, they will help you improve your systems and processes within their business, because they love their job and they love the business as you do, and they'll help you find a better way to do things, because they're concerned that the business is spending too much money on this area or spending too much time in this area where something can be improved on. And it's a magical thing once you figure that out. And it's very simple to just build these relationships and keep the whole team connected. And I could go on and on about this because I'm so passionate about how Nathan and Connor built their teams. But They were able to build an 8-figure business completely run with virtual assistants. And how did they do that? They built the trust, they built the relationships, they outsourced the work, and they built a strong team. And you don't just outsource to people who are skilled. This is one more secret. It doesn't matter how skilled or how experienced a virtual assistant is. If they don't know how to communicate properly and if they don't have a good attitude, it'll never work. Yeah, okay, it'll work for about 6 months. They'll give you great content, right? Like, let's say it's a video editor. They have mad editing skills and they give you like full movie effects and all that. But if their attitude is like, if you correct them and they're like, I don't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they don't have the right attitude and they don't communicate with you on a regular basis and build the relationships, it's not going to work. I don't care if they give me a video that makes me feel like I'm a movie star. I want to make sure that you value the company and me as a person, and that you are a good person overall, and you want to grow and you're committed. That's what I want to see, and you want to learn even more, and you're hungry, and that's what we see as rockstar virtual assistant. Not the best in the field, but the best in here and up here too. So yeah.
Well, and you actually have, since we're at the end of our time here, you actually have a very exciting offer for our listeners so that they can learn how to find those rockstar VAs.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. I'm super excited. So Outsource School focuses on helping you hire rockstar virtual assistants, overcome or stay away, avoid costly turnover, hiring mistakes, and overall to save you time. We have a lot of playbooks and formulas that revolve around the operations side and the marketing side. We have weekly coaching sessions with the owners of Outsource School, with me as well. And if you want to learn how to scale your business with the use of virtual assistants, I have a special offer for you. We're giving you 20% off Outsource School's yearly plan. The code is LINKUP, capital L, capital U. It's on the screen. And if you schedule a call with me, my email is anna@outsourceschool.com, ANA@outsourceschool.com. Set up a call with me. Send me an email. I have a special bonus for anybody who does. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm offering you guys a free Care Plus package. Our Care Plus package is where I would write the job post for you. I would look for candidates for you. I would interview this person for you. And I just come to you and say, hey, Lisa, I got your social media manager. She's a rock star, and this is what happened. And you guys get to view how I do the interviews. You get to experience it firsthand on how our process works. So you get one for free. Usually it's about $597 for each package, but on top of the 20%, we give you a free Care Plus package if you schedule a call with me, or even if you just send me an email and tell me a little bit about your business and what challenges you're going through, or what areas you need help with, so I can make it more personal for each of you guys. So super excited to help you guys.
That is awesome. So the free Care Plus package, if you email Anna, is valid for 2 weeks, and then the 20% off is valid for how long? That code will be.
So that'll be open for your audience as a thank you for having me on the show. So even if they join you next year, January, just as long as Outsource School is still around, the code will still work for you. And if it doesn't, just come to me and say you heard me on Link Up Leaders, and for sure I'll give you a new discount code. But I strongly suggest you make use of the free Care Plus package. It is awesome, and it'll save you a ton of time. You wouldn't think that hiring someone would take us up as much time, but it took me about 3 weeks to hire an assistant for somebody in our Care Plus service, and it took me about 10 to 15 hours overall. So if you value your time and you want to save 10, 15, 20 hours, please take advantage of the Care Plus service. Send me an email, anna@outsourceschool.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
I know we will.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, it extends to you guys as well. And I'll send you guys an email. We have a lot of other freebies for you and for your audience. Free webinar. Oh, and our VA calculator. I forgot to show you that to you guys. Do you still have time for me to quickly show you? Just 2 minutes, or
I think we can maybe do that in a separate episode. We can make like a separate little like snippet of it. So you guys will have to go to the YouTube channel to see that.
Yes, sure. So I can go over like 10 commonly asked questions, and we can go over the VA calculator, but it's free. Go to our website, download the free VA calculator to figure out how many VAs you can hire within your budget. There's so much more I want to talk about. We just don't have enough time. So I hope to see you guys again next time.
Absolutely. Anna, thank you so much. This has been so informative. And if you guys liked what you heard today or saw, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your network, and ring that little notification bell on YouTube so that you never miss a discussion with leaders in supply chain and e-commerce like Anna from Outsource School. And be sure to subscribe to her channel too, because she is incredible. So Anna, thank you again so much for being here, dear. It's been an absolute joy.
Oh, thank you so much. Joy. Yeah, no, I love it. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I know that it can be a challenge, or it can be tricky to bring someone on as a guest if you don't really know who they are yet. But I thank you guys for taking a chance on me, and hopefully I get to see you again soon.
Oh, of course, definitely. Absolutely.
We'll definitely 100%. Have you back on.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a great weekend.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.